Welcome back to States and Kingdoms. Today we're talking about television and their album Marquee Moon from 1977.
Marquee Moon.
No, Marky Mark.
It's not like
Moon.
Marquee Moon. It's like Marquee Moon. We haven't talked about television. I don't remember if we did Adventure after we talked about Tom Verlaine, because we did a video about Tom Verlaine and...
Well, we've done Tom Verlaine's solo album.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah.
The way we do things, we don't do the first album first or any of things like that. Cause
I don't know why I have to be so critical.
Yeah. It's just, whatever we're listening to a lot of the time. But I actually, of course, heard Marquee Moon first. Marquee Post as well.
We the white fair.
Anyway, well, let me tell you a little story.
Okay.
But, around 2000 or so, there once was a little guy.
Ah, yes.
He was listening to a lot of heavy stuff. Angry music. He was getting angry.
He had the anger in him.
And he was listening to, a lot of, Pantera and, things like that. And he's getting kind of rowdy.
He was a real mess.
But,
What a hoodlum.
Yeah. But he also enjoyed Rodgers and Hammerstein.
He sounds gay. Is this someone we know?
He also enjoyed a good Cole Porter tune. He was a big Beatles fan. And no one liked him. In any case, he also played guitar. Not well. It doesn't matter.
No, he did play well.
Yeah, right. What do you know? You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, no, but this album, along with like Sonic Youth, Evil, and Daydream Nation, and to some extent Velvet Underground, White Light, White Heat, mostly. But it just changed what I thought you could do with guitar. Mm-hmm. I mean, even because I was listening to Jimi Hendrix, and there was certainly a lot of things going on.
You listened to Cream, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, but there's also like Korn and Rage Against the Machine and all the stuff that was going on at the time, which was all a lot
guitar
of it,
based. And
quite experimental in their way. But something about, television was at the forefront for me. I loved the sound of it. It is quintessential guitar music, but the guitar, and you include bass in this as well. The guitar handles the harmony. It handles the melody, not being as blues based, and kind of just coming at guitar from a totally different angle. It just knocked me out. Classical sounding, and at times you could say symphonic, but never pompous. It's never big. The guitars, everything was overdriven at the time. Everything was, fuzzed out, and and here you have these crystal clear guitars really on the album. The clearly two phenomenal guitar players that complement each other. It just so knocked me out. It still does. It makes me excited about, guitar and shows you how beautiful an instrument it can be.
And there is a lot of layering, and it's not so, just like clear cut, like, bass player, rhythm player, lead player, you all do your part, like pause, lead guy, go. There's nothing like that, like traditional song structure. Almost like every move is a surprise. It's like something happens, something flourishes over here. You didn't expect it to come from over there, and then it's over here, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like, for sure, I haven't listened to this as much as you have. I know this is an album I have definitely listened to a lot, but I know it's really, really super high up for you, of course, because you play guitar and you have for so long. So I guess I'm coming at it from a little bit of a different angle. But I feel like there's new things that I hear every time I listen to it, for sure. I feel like I haven't picked up on every piece of it yet.
It is almost like listening to an instrumental band. The Ventures, perhaps. But, something like that, a dual guitar, instrumental group. And you take that and add Tom Verlaine. Tom Verlaine's vocals I mean, obviously, some people are just not going to like them. I do. And, I think on top of that, he's one of my favorite lyricists. I think, the lyrics for really all, television and his solo work, I really admire. They really are genuinely poetic. I mean, he really is, he's a good writer. Richard Lloyd, who's still around, is absolutely brilliant. Tom Verlaine was brilliant. Fred Smith's bass playing is great. And Billy Ficker's drumming they all, it's really interesting. It's not like, I wouldn't say that, certainly not on the album is it like solo driven. But I feel like some of these songs are almost like solos throughout the entire thing. And every person is playing a melody part, even the drummer. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the singer is the only one that may not be.
Right.
It's really,
yeah, that's interesting.
It's fascinating, and there are things in television that you hear in a lot of people after this album. I mean, a lot. So many people, and not just people like the Pretenders, where No,
but that whole like post-punk then / new wave 80s
like
sound.
That whole like math rock sound, even like whatever but bands like even like Slint, or Juna 44, or Rodin. The way they approach the guitars, it seems similar to me. The way Slint or the Juna 44, the way those bands use the guitar, the bass, and the singing is usually more rhythmic or spoken. There's more dynamic than that, and sometimes there is definitely melodic singing.
Yeah.
But usually the guitar is taking the melody, and in television, that is there in a way that you don't hear.
Well, it's not
before.
so like so different from other things that you're just like, oh my god, like, oh, I can't listen to this. It's so crazy. Like, what is the guitar doing?
Well, because it's beautiful.
Exactly.
It's not. I was also listening to Captain Beefheart and U.S. Maple and bands like that
a little more strident.
Far more dissonant. It's beautiful. Marquee Moon is always stunning to listen to, and that's a long song that never feels long to me.
Well, they all have such nice build-ups, like they all really like have a crescendo. It really, there's a real like finish to each song.
Yeah.
So it's it's you want to wait for the payoff. It's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
I think this album just has a perfect balance, of everything television could do. They never quite, captured this again. Adventure I like it a lot. I think with maybe a couple of changes that could have been, pretty much the equal of this.
Yeah.
The last album, honestly, I really have to go back and listen to that again.
From 92.
Yeah. But Tom Verlaine's solo stuff is fantastic as well. I love that. We talk about this all the time, and everything we talk about, this music's all great. But there's certainly, certain albums that, truly are a kind of pivotal moment. I do think this is one of them.
Mm-hmm. This is an album, if you ever got Rolling Stone magazine or have done like the teeniest bit of digging into like rock and roll history, this album comes up all the time.
It used to.
All the time. It's on every list of the greatest albums. I feel like it's one of those albums that people love to name drop and just say, oh yeah, like Marquee Moon.
Marquee Moon.
That's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And, I hope there are more people listening to it. I personally haven't known that many people who were listening to television. But I don't know that many people who are really worth much.
Well, they definitely listened to it then.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Its
It's
impact
clear.
was pretty clear. And I guess, that's wonderful. It's such a great album. It's really beautiful, and I don't get tired of listening to it. And it's still inspiring.
Oh yeah, whether you play guitar or not,
yeah.
If you love music. Thank you so much for watching our brief discussion of television's Marquee Moon. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to Stays and Kingdoms if you're not subscribed, leave a comment, and we'll see you next time.